Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another powerful episode of the podcast. Today's conversation is one many young Gambians have been waiting for. Because of youth in politics, it's something that is actually taking the center stage in our political discourse. And in this episode, I am joined by two important youth leaders. One, the student wing president of the ruling party, National People's Party (NPP), and we also have Lamin Mane, the Secretary General of United Democratic Party Student Wing. This conversation is going to be one of its kind, and then we can't wait to hear your perspective from different um, issues as far as our national politics is concerned and leadership. But before we get into the program, I will allow Doc to say hi to you and then the viewers before we open your microphone there. Doc, welcome back again.
Assalamu alaikum. Kaya morong alkonto. Kekendo. It's good to have you both here. Quite a very outspoken person. I think it's my first time meeting Yusuf. It's good to see you. And, think I do see a couple of stuff from your end. Of course, politics, you know how the climate is. So you would see time to time stuff from different camps. So, but I'm very happy to be in this discussion, to have you both in this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It is a pleasure having you again to do this program with me. And over to you, Lamin. Lamin, you are welcome. How are you doing?
No, thank you so much, Aliu, for the invite, and thank you so much, Doctor, for always being part of this platform. And then I'm a very good fan of platform. I am very happy to be part of you guys here today, but also to share a platform with Mr. Tunkara. I believe this is my first time. I look forward to a very engaged, well-informed, coordinated discussion today. Thank you so much.
Oh, as you have given us a big task to well coordinate the program, I hope so. We will definitely do that as time goes on. Mr. Tungara, good to have you again.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been a while.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be with you all. Greetings from our headquarters. And then good to be here. And greeting to the viewers as well. I think this is my first time being in this platform, but I've been following the platform too. And then, Mr. Lamin, you are very right. I think we are not cross paths. And tomorrow as well, Doctor. So, this is an opportunity for us to meet and chat and discuss on national issues.
Exactly. Thank you so much for giving us your time to come and join us here to have a discussion on national issues and, of course, leadership around politics in in our country, the Gambia. Before we get into the program, obviously I've crossed paths with all of you, and Mr. Tunkara has been in student governance at the university in different capacities. So seeing you leading student wing of United Democratic of NPP, it's something that I'm not surprised because you have been there for the students, and of course Lamin too has been in student governance, student politics. Even Doctor was also a president at the University of the Gambia. So I know today we have a combination of university students or university students leaders. I believe the program is going to be an interesting one. We're going to start with Lamin. Lamin, take us through your student's life. A lot of people have been seeing you on social media recently. They didn't know who is this guy, and then sometimes when your trailer is already out there, people will be asking, "Who is this boy? Who is that boy?" Tell us, where were you from, and where were you during the struggle, and where did you start your schooling and everything? Tell us something about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Aliu, for that opportunity. I am Lamin Mane. I was born in Gunjur, Kombo South, but my father is from Kombo East, Sotokoi. So paternally, that will make me a Sotokoinka, and I'm very proud to come from Sotokoi too. So at say maybe 8 years or so, I moved from Gunjur to Sotokoi, where I started my primary education from grade 1 to grade 6. But in Sotokoi, we have only grade 6. Then beyond grade 6, you either have to go to the nearby communities to do your further education, or you have to leave the village to go to the combos for further education. But I was able to go to Faraba. Faraba is a community near to Sotokoi to do my grade 7 to 9, but it's a basic cycle. So I started my 1 to grade at Sotokoi, then grade 7 Waraba. Then I moved to Nusrat Senior Secondary School in 2013, where I stayed at Kololi to go to Nusrat Senior Secondary School until 2016 when I graduated. Then I was up to other further studies beyond academics of, say, beyond the transition to the university. I went on to do a computer literacy program and also find some hands-on experience. And then in 2021, exactly, or 2020-2021 semester, that is in the September semester, I moved into the University of the Gambia to start my bachelor's degree in English language. So since then, I was a very active student. Even in Sotokoi, grade 1 to 6, I was a very, very brilliant student there. But at the university, I do not stop at only academics, pursuing only academics. I also ensure that I am into extracurricular activities, and therein I started into engaging students' politics. Where I was elected to serve as the Secretary General of the Social Sciences and Humanities Students Association in 2023. So it's a 1 year student leadership program, and then beyond that, that was all inclusive. That was me in the University of the Gambia, and then in 2024 I graduated, and I'm now a bachelor's degree holder in English language.
Thank you so much, Lamin, for that wonderful rundown. I think some of them who have been asking, who is this boy, clue about who Lamin is. And moving to Mr. Tunkara. Mr. Tunkara, it's good to have you again. And then take us through your background. We knew that you've been, in other part of the world. You have actually have a lot of experience when it comes to youth affairs and issues related to that. But tell us, where were you born and where have you been to school, and then some of the things that you've engaged in before you get into politics.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me once again. Good to be here. My name is Yusuf Tunkara, like everybody knows, and I'm from URR, a little tiny village in Upper River region. That's Baniko. Some people call it Baniko Abdu. Baniko Abdu is the official name, but the known name is Baniko Banda. So I grew up in Banjul and the rural Gambia, and then until I attended both English and Arabic schools until 2011 when I moved to 2010 when I traveled to China for a business trip, and then of course I was privileged to have a brother who has been in the same line for many years. So that has given me an opportunity to see the world. And in 2012, I moved to South Korea. And then ever since I've been in those, of course, during my stay in China, I studied Chinese language. And then while I moved to South Korea again, I also studied Korean as well. So, and then I've been there for almost 10 years or close to that before moving to Gambia, and then had an admission there, but I had to choose where to go. So I feel like home is always where we had to be. So I tried to get admission from UTG, and eventually I got it in 2021. So I started my academic journey. While in UTG, of course, you know a lot about me. And I'm from School of Business and Public Admin. I was a founding member of a coalition. That's Solution Salvation Coalition. We are actually one of few people that come up with the idea and established that group in UTG. I serve as a deputy minister at my school. I serve as a three-time chairman of the Comansa for the normal recital that we had annually. I serve as a deputy speaker, member of LP, deputy speaker, chair of finance committee, and then deputy chair, deputy chair, UTG Students Week 2024, if I know this sounds right. And then before assuming the current position as a president of MPP Students Week.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunkara, for that wonderful rundown. And the reason why I did this is for people to really know what are our guests today and then what they have been doing. In many a times, people do see people on media. They started making judgment about certain individuals, not knowing some of the things that they have been doing before they get to where they are today. So So without much ado, we are going to get into the program proper and then discussion. Mr. Ngara, what is the purpose of student wing?
Well, for me, students, before we even get to students wing, I will talk about students from tertiary institution perspective. The reason why I actually joined politics at the UTG level is because I believe that um, those ideas come from a very learned individuals that deem it fit that the students should have a representative. In the case of UTG, where we have a Senate, our vice president will go and sit and represent us. And then, of course, at the governing council, where we have a president. So I believe, and the drafters of the constitution or the service rules of UTG, I'm sure that they have in mind that the students should have a representative through who should be elected through ballot box. And the only way one can be elected through ballot box is to be able to convince many in that group that you are the best among all that present themselves. So that alone ignites the idea of politics. So I believe those were used as a yardstick for us to prepare the young people, especially the students, and that in transitioning from the of course growing up life from junior school and high school, moving to university, and being able to participate and make an impact. Obviously, it requires a lot of hard work, commitment, and resilience. So it also gives you a required skills for you to prepare yourself as and to be a leader, where we can effect changes when necessary in our communities. Because many of us that are involved in UTG politics or students politics at the school level actually prepare us a lot. Some will say that, well, I need to focus on my school, I need to focus on my grades. And for people like me, when I came to UTG from my first, I believe from my first semester, I knew why I came to UTG. So I try as much as can to take maximum advantage of why I'm there. That is to one, to learn, two, to build my capacity, and three, I didn't go to university just to make money for myself. I decided to go to university to educate myself so I can effect changes in my society. So basically, whatever it takes for me to know how and when to go about that, I try to get involved with that. So through my 4 years in uni, everybody did. I think I'm called Mr. Chairman because that's where I've been. I have been always because I've never really contested for office because I don't really think I needed to contest to effect changes, but I can always help other people to grow and make sure that provide a platform for them to achieve their aims and aspirations. So basically, for me, the students' politics is all about commitment to service delivery, commitment to service, and commitment for community development. So it all starts from the UTG. Of course, during my stay in UTG as a member of LB, I think I am for the first time. I'm the only student so far in UTG who sponsored a private member bill in history of University of Gambia that introduced a bill into the LB and get it passed and have President to Asante. The bill deal with empower the finance minister and the auditor general of sub association in writing their audit report directly to the LB rather than to their Congress, because Congresses are, in many cases, in my view, 6 months or 1 year. There's a very few schools in UTG whom do their Congresses every 6 months. Most of them do Congress once in a year, which means when you are elected, you are left on your own. You go and do whatever you want to do. No accountability, no transparency. At the end of the tenure, you come and give whatever you want to give to the student and go home. So
That's
I come up
incredible.
with a bill that introduce empowering the sub auditor general and finance minister of sub association. So they have a power to be writing to the legislative body at every 3 months where they see issues. The reason why I brought up this because without a law, we society cannot be regulated. So that
Definitely.
is why I come up with this.
Yeah.
So I
So
believe
so
we have a power.
looking at all the experience that you've gained at the University of the Gambia from different positions that you have held from JT to the student governance in other faculty or faculty-based organization, what inform your thoughts to engage international politics, and why do you choose NPP? In 1 minute.
Actually, okay. Actually, during my days in uni, I have always been a little active member of national politics, but not that much active. I think probably by way of close proximity to power and then other factors that come along the way. But I always have interest in advancing and the agenda of my community so at whatever level that has been. During my stay in South Korea, I make sure that we establish a Gambian organization that called Gambian. I don't know. I forgot the name of the group, the correct name. But it started with the two, or I think 4 people. By the time I left there, we have over 150 members, and we have so much money in our account. So I believe organizing ourselves. I believe in that so much. When I come to UTG, I find a group of people that who we can organize ourselves. Of course, when issue come in 2021. So, I mean, it's politics. People see it, where do you support? I mean, for us, we found ourselves somehow in NPP, side of NPP. And then we have been supporting NPP ever since with our little things that we can or we want. But of course, last time when we had a Congress, NPP students, they were about to do Congress to elect their new leaders. Actually, I mobilized a whole lot of people to see why we should do that. But unknown to me that people were eyeing me to be the president, and I was actually pursued to be the president. I told them clearly, I am not interested to be the president of Students' Wing. One, I'm almost done with UTG. Second, I think I can serve better at another level than being a president. But the team at the Congress said, no, it's either you or nobody else. So then, of course, as once you put yourself out there for public, and one side of you, another side of you, I'm very cognizant of that. And because of that, I accepted to take the roles, responsibility as a president. Of course, as a president of the students, I am expected to be loyal to the party and give my maximum support and galvanize maximum support for the party. And hence, I am working very hard for that.
Wow, incredible. So it seems like it's a calling, like it's a calling from the people that you need to come and serve them at that position. And moving to you, Lamin. Lamin, tell us. I know this must have been a very difficult decision for you, as somebody who has been very active in youth advocacy and stuff like that, to take a stand to get into the politics, much more to serve as the Secretary General for Student Wing. Some people might even they don't even believe that you are part of Student Wing because you become the face of the UDP when it comes to different media platform today. Tell us in 2 minutes, when did you choose UDP and why?
No, I think I will have to go back to the question that you asked my co-panelist here, that is Mr. Tunkara. And I want to believe Tunkara have a misconception of the question, because the question was the formation of the youth wing in relation to development around the party as a whole. Yeah. So we started the UDP started this thing of students wing. So I think I am at the best position to explain it so that Mr. Tunkara will understand and take it from there, because he was more or less talking about himself and then his roles and activities as far as politics is concerned. But the reason why the students wings are formed, especially what informed the basis of why UDP has a students wing, is that we wanted to have an intellectual laboratory or an intellectual hub where, when necessary, that there needs a policy review, a policy informing, a policy direction and whatnot. These are the people that we are going to rely on to help in reading, in proofreading, in helping sharing what the plights and concerns of the students are. And then this is what will inform the thoughts of the people at the helm of affairs as far as party administration is concerned. And I believe that is a confirmation of my participation in the last retreat organized by the United Democratic Party, where myself as the Secretary General and my President Ismaila Jobate served as the rapporteurs. It was a 2-day event from 8 to 5. So it was a huge activities that, partake there. And then we were able to, participate as rapporteurs to help the party intellectually in gathering informations and thoughts that were shared by people from different localities as far as our geography is concerned. So this is the document that the party will use through the consensus of the leadership to make an informed decision if we become a government, that this is the concern raised by the people that we have an interaction with. But other than that also, we know youths are a very large constituent as far as Gambia is concerned. And most of these youths are students. So it's important that you have a leadership that has that direct relationship with first the youths that are not at schools, but also the youths that are at schools. So this is why UDP has its own wing called the Youth Wing that deals technically with youth matters and whatnot, but also they have a wing called the Students Wing. So that the down to the party national executive by this
Yeah.
So
You know,
exactly
yes. I think Yusuf, you need to help Lamin with network though.
this
Uh,
is
we're still struggling to
why
hear him out.
the
Lamin, we can hear
students
you. Maybe you can go back and come in again so that we'll be able to hear you clearly. But
are formed. I don't
okay,
know why
go
the
ahead, Lamin.
NPP
Go ahead.
is formed, but to tell you,
Mhm.
so that is technically
Um,
why these
I'm sorry, you're
wings are
still breaking. You're still breaking,
created.
Lamin. You're still breaking. So, Doc, you can go ahead and then you can put your question to Yusuf before Lamin regulate his network properly.
All right, thank you very much. I'm not going into the student politics of it. I've been in it. I've been
Party,
UTGSU president. I've served, in
education
multiple youth
is
capacity.
the
Worked in the
most important
university. Oh, my man is back.
for us to
No,
be
he's still,
using.
he's still, he's
So
still
I
Oh
breaking.
wouldn't
my
really go
goodness!
into
You
the
see,
politics
Jobin,
proper. I don't really think it's about students. It's about young people and of course how they taking up leadership roles and all of that. And the politics proper to it, we in 2026 we're going to have elections in December. I am sure Yusuf believes that NPP should remain in power and of course probably President Barrow. Why should Barrow run for the third term? That is just a question I keep asking everybody. Does NPP not have any other credible person like you who can actually become president and, of course, continue the legacy of Adama Barrow? Or it must be Adama Barrow and nobody else. Why?
Mhm.
Thank you. Is it a question to me or is it a statement that you made?
It's a question to you.
Okay.
I said, must
Ah,
it be Adama Barrow and
okay.
why?
Thank you. Before I answer that question quickly, I think I will correct Mr. I wish he's here, but I'm sure he's out. What he's talking about the youth involvement in politics. Their conception of formation of their youth wing is different, completely different from our conception of formation of our youth wings. Okay, we didn't come to be rabattoirs to our party secretary because in any case they have never done anything. So this is the only rabattoir they did. So in our case, we don't do that. What we do is we focus on the youth. I know for sure when we started with our party leadership for the first time, I remember when I was just a member, I was told by deputy party leader then, or we were told that the party intend to use the students' wing as the intellectual arm of the party. Ever since we have been told this, we have been working towards that. So that's basically what we
You
are
know, you know,
focusing.
you know, you know,
But
you know, you
to your
students,
question,
you students want to be called intellectual. You're still learning. Intellectuals are the ones running the party, right? But anyway,
well,
I give it to the students. I still give it to the
Dulsano,
students.
like the Dulsanos.
The
we are the
students,
intellectual
the
in making.
students want to be the intellectual. More so the university going students. They're still learning. But
Yeah,
anyway,
but of course, we are intellectuals in making.
in
You
exactly
cannot
in
take
making
away
in the
from
in
us.
the process. You're still in the process,
Yes.
okay?
Okay,
But
actually, basically, what I mean by that is a students of university, a students wing doesn't necessarily have to be involved into gele politics where
yeah,
you go
right.
to rallies and be a talks. So rather, either you be more of a policy advisors to the party and the party administration, and of course, for other youthful engagement, things that we think the party should be doing for young people in particular. So basically, we understand that's what we understand. That idea of intellectual, I believe, is more or less rounded around getting those things done.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand. I got
Mhm.
that. That's a lot of consciousness, not just
yes,
clapping, but of course contributing meaningfully to the development of your
exactly,
body and of
exactly.
course the
So
country
going to your
altogether.
question, why should
Yes.
President Barros run? I think that has been clear. President Barrow, for the past 8 years, since he came to power, I always say this, and this has been a personal opinion. Um, Someone that came to power on premises that he never entered government, he never worked in government, he have no idea. He agreed, he said it, and everybody knows it. But ever since he came to power, he has been able to steadily spearhead the affairs of this country peacefully and honestly. And of course, go into things that many people said, we have not asked him to do that. Okay? That is the whole infrastructure development that has been going in the country. When is that infrastructure? Many people will say, he's talking about the roads only. We're not talking about roads only. It's across the board. If you go to electricity, if you go to roads, water supply, healthcare, education sector, it's a whole lot. So we know governments, of course, even 20 years will never be enough for any government. That's the truth. A government is continuity, we agree with that. But at our level, and at our level as a National People's Party, I am not part of National Executive, okay? And I cannot speak for National Executives. But our job as a student is, once our party make a decisions, a consultative decisions, we are duty bound.
Let me retrieve the question for you. His question was, do you really think President Adam Barrow should seek another mandate?
Oh
in
yes,
that term?
simple answer. Yes.
So,
Actually,
Tungara,
my answer is yes.
I still have a lot of questions, and I want this to be an interactive conversation.
Okay.
Now, here you are, a young person, very agile, quite very promising, looking into your face, and of course, what you've told us. Do you believe in term limit?
Well, yes, I do believe in term limits.
So why do you think the president must have 15 years in power instead of any other person within your party who can continue?
President Barros, we are not talking about the term limit here. He is not breaking a law. He's not coercing any parliament to change any law. Do you get? So what we do have in the Gambia is an open book. As long as people can vote for you, you are allowed to contest for elections. Now, if the president and his party decided that he can actually go, they want to present him, and he accepted the nomination of his party, I don't think that has anything to do with the third term or term limit. If we have a law that says a two-term, and the president used his executive power to coerce parliament, coerce judiciary, enforcing people like we see in other countries, okay, like we see in other countries, then I would definitely oppose that as a young person, because I strongly believe that people should not be coerced into agreeing to things. But this is a Gambian constitution that we had for the first 20 or more than 20 years. And President Barrow have not done anything to change the constitution. So the constitution give him that leverage to either continue or and say, okay, I'm tired, I'm going home. So his party said, either you are tired or not, we are going with you. Of course, like I said, as a politician, one side is you own one part of you, half of yours also go with other people. So I see no reason why he should not go for data.
Doc, do you have another? You want to chip in, or Doc, you want to add another question for that? Lamin, do you want to respond to that?
Doctor, I need all your questions today.
Well, you've muted me, Aliu. I'm muted.
No. Go ahead. You're not.
I'm muted.
No. Go ahead.
I'm audible.
We're hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thank you so much, Aliu. So it's the reality that we face in here, and I think it's important that Mr. Tunkara acknowledge that no development can go without a simple connectivity that will connect Aliu and me, America and Gambia, or even between me and Mr. Tunkara. So we are definitely in a state of dark, and it needs to be addressed as a failure. So let him acknowledge that. So moving on, Aliu, I was talking about a very important point, that the student wing should not be a wing where you gather people to club, and he had acknowledged that. What you do as a student wing, you ensure that you gather the concerns of the student, the concerns of the curriculum, what the appalling nature of the curriculum is, so that these things are discussed at the party level. And then this will inform the policy direction and posture of the particular party that you are supporting. So if Mr. Tunkara is confirming that so long he's not in the national executive, then his ideas and thoughts might not be very influential at the decision making. That says a lot about the student leadership that they have. But ours means that we are very, very, very engaging with our party leadership to ensure that they know what the plights and concerns of the students of the Gambia are, but also what the party needs to do as far as our anticipation to become the government is concerned. And these things are well documented in our 5-point agenda. In our first two of the 5-point agenda, it is clearly mentioned as to what the UDP will do, not only for the students, but for the youth of this country. And then first you have the empowerment, the youth empowerment and employment scheme. But also you have the education, skills, and training. If we are to go about with these two things, I believe that, and my leadership, even everybody here in the comment section will believe with me that if the empowerment and employability of the youth are sorted, this country is going to sail through to success as soon as possible time. But if the youths are neglected and they are plights and are not sorted, then it's going to be always difficult. You are going to be recycling projects from one way to the other, which is not going to solve our problem. So that is my point that I wanted to make before the network kicked me out. But I would like to continue the discussion if you have any question, or if Doc have any question for me, so that I can delve into those questions.
Yeah, so Doc, those questions to Mr. Tunkara or Mr. President was about, the term limit that Mr. Tunkara has outlined President Adam Barrow's unprecedented development, as they will always put it. What would be your reaction on that?
Can I come quickly before you go to that question? Yes, as Zimane was talking about the party, the students being influencing the policies and programs of their party when it comes to government. And we believe our students win and believe in impacting life and livelihood of students that associated or wanted to be associated to our party. And the leadership, the influencing leadership should start from one itself and then the executive itself. So for me, on my part, since we came to power as a students' wing executive, second executive MPP students' wing, we have been involved directly with the party leadership in almost across the board. And if anybody who knows me, currently NPP National Secretariat have full of students who have been given a free hands to participate in administration and decision making of the party. And then they are working very closely with admin secretariat. And in most of the major decisions the party is taking, we are consulted, we are aware. But not only that, we are also given a latitude to bring up our suggestions, our opinions to any policy issues that arise either from government part, since we are in government, and from the party's part. So we have been doing that. We have been working very closely. Our activities are actually gazetted in our national activity plans. So MPP 2025 activity plan was actually drafted and spearheaded by the MPP students wing and presented to the party leadership, and the party leadership accepted it and adopted as a working document for 2025. In fact, that activity is still running to this year. And we have conducted series of training doing by MPP students wing alone, initiated and executed by MPP students wing, financially supported by the MPP as a MPP national executive, run by the MPP students wing. We have influenced the scholarship package MPP over the years.
We will get into the scholarship package and then some of the things that you've directly done as far as students wing is concerned. We will get into.
Please let me not interrupt.
One second. What will be your reaction to previous question with regards to what Mr. Tungara said earlier that has to do with President Alabaro's development to make him give another chance to continue ruling? He called it continuity. What would be your reaction to that?
Jobis, there's one thing that is certain, and I think that should be clear to Mr. Tunkara and every audience here. The reason why we have a government is because there is a social contract between the people and the government. So no government should take advantage of, because I am bringing development to the people, then I should be there forever. Because if you look at the population of this country, we are around, the census will say 2 points over 1.
Go ahead. Lamin is breaking. I will talk to Sirfo Bayasonko to get him, or the party leader, to get him a new phones, iPhone 17 Pro Max. That will be better. Mr. Tungara, before Lamin will come back, it seems like Lamin is breaking down there, and we could not hear him out. We could not get him brutal out there. So take us through about
and women who can also take from where Adam.
2025 calendar year. It seems like Lamin is back. Lamin, are you here? Mr. Tungara, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Like I told you, exactly 2025, we have been summoned to draft as a students week to work with admin secretariat in drafting the 12 months activity plan for the party. And then,
it seems like SG is back. SG, are you there?
Yeah, I'm fed up with what I am enduring now. Yeah, I'm fed up. Network is just not giving me time to. Yeah,
You
but
are politicians, so they will do whatever they could.
my
Yeah, as you, I mean, Usino Dawa is not going to be happy with you today.
Tungara, you have to face the internet in the Gambia. This is your government's responsibility. You know, these are one of the
case is
one of the issues
Mr.
of
Tunkara
I have
should
zero problem with my internet.
Mhm.
I am in Gambia.
As you can go out and come in again. It seems like you are breaking. Doc, if you have question for Mr. Tunkara, you can go ahead.
So sorry, I had to get off and then get on from my computer. My phone is constantly ringing and it was affecting it. So my initial question was basically why another term for the president? How do you make that he's doing a lot of work? Don't you think you have any other person who could do that? You did mention constitutionality, but here is a moral issue here. The president told us he was going to stay for 3 years, Tungara. You know that? What has
Very
changed?
much.
What has changed?
I think the events
You're almost going to 15 years. What has changed?
the event that happens since 2017, I'm so it is in the public domain for everyone to see. From President Barrow's coalition 3 years term that Gambian voted for, and then subsequently moving from 3 years to 5 years. And then, of course, establishment of his political party, that is NPP, of course, and having given a full-fledged mandate with our coalition partners in 2021. So the party and the partners deem it fit that as things stand now, and then President Barrows can actually continue with what he's doing, and they also are willing to continue supporting him. At the end of the day, it's the popular vote, it's the popular opinion that matters. We are in democracy. Democracy is government for the people by the people. So in this case, if there's any moral issue, for instance, Gambians were voting for Barrow in 2021, in 2016, for 3 years. Okay, not knowing the fact that that 3 years is practically impossible for President Barrow to step down. Because if the president is to step down in that 3 years, he was the government, the entire government has to be dissolved, which means that there should have been a constitutional amendment immediately after President took over that mandated the government, both parliament and any other arm of government to last for only 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, that government stand dissolved. That was not factor. Okay, we come to the parliamentary election in that year. Whatever happened. All parties went and contest. People were given 5-year mandate announced by IEC. IEC is the sole authority that who can announce a winner on election day. For example, when he was announced on December 5th or 4th, he was never announced for 3 years. I could really remember IEC chairman saying that 5 years.
Do you want to tell me that the president did not know that a mandate of a president was 5 years before agreeing to a 3-year transition period?
Like I said, it's not about the president.
The president knows. This is about the president because the president.
It is not about the president. Let me give you a scenario. Let me give you a scenario.
Okay, what's the scenario?
Let me give you a scenario, doctor. Let me give you a scenario, doctor. You know, when you are into politics, a side of you have absolute right and control over it.
Yes.
But a side of you have zero control over that. You must accept that. That's one of the principles of politics. I can remember one Nigerian former president Buhari, Muhammad Buhari, late former president. When he lost election for the 3rd term, he went to court and he lost that court, Supreme Court judgment against him and his party. He cried and said he would never present himself as a candidate for presidency again in Nigeria. But when the need arises, his political associate and the people in the country go after him and say, you must come, we need you. He have to subdue and go against what he publicly said. Because he never said he will never be a president, but he said he will never present himself as a candidate. In the case of President Barrow, it was based on agreement with his political associate, whom they built trust together. First he was selected. Then they agree on the 3 years mandate. He said, okay, if I happen to be the candidate, I have to agree. It's an agreement. He went into that agreement with all of them. Whatever happened. So you cannot take that and put it.
What happened?
You cannot take that and put it on President Barrow and say he's in. No.
But I want you to tell us what happened in
2016. You have a president, you have a government who is full of party leaders, a senior party officers holding senior government offices. Everybody is trying to fight for his party. And the president is there, no party, nothing. He's the one that people voted for. He has to be responsible to Gambian, yes. But then he has a close associate where everybody want to find their way out.
Doc, it seems like
nobody was interested in 3 years.
Dr. Cisse has trained Tungara very well upon this session. Go ahead, Doc.
So honestly, you cannot take the last 5 years. In fact, it is not our 5 years. It is not MPP 5 years. Okay.
What do you call it?
It is coalition government. It was a coalition government where you have a UDP and you have a PDOIS. Maybe they stay away from the government at some point. You have NRP, you have a GPDP, you have PPP, late OJ Jallo, and so many others. Everybody was involved. You have NCP,
up till date, your government is a coalition government. Do you notice that?
NPP-led coalition, not a coalition government.
President
Barrow is not an independent candidate. President Barrow is our candidate.
Look,
he is NPP flag bearer.
How do you define a coalition?
Well, coalition have so many definitions, but in this case, in this particular case, it's MPP-led coalition.
Right.
Do you agree with
bring Lamin before his
it's
network
a coalition,
again.
right?
Before his network.
It's our MPP-led coalition. We agree.
Yes,
we continue to build a coalition around our candidates.
Yeah.
So my question here is, your candidate was an independent coalition leader in 2016, who was meant to serve 3 years, neglected those promises and went on for 5 years. You said that is a constitution, of course, as per morality. I agree. Now, after that 5 years, he ran under his own party coalition, party-led coalition. And of course, he won a second mandate. Here you are. This is a president who told us that he believed in term limit. He believed that no one person should rule for so long as they desire. And of course, you're now telling us that it's the people and his partners who really want the president to continue. And of course, we blame other presidents who were here and characterize them as dictators. But of course, this is a democracy, and it's very normal that we don't have a constitutional provision that actually said that the president should run for just 2 terms. But the president can continue to run as long as he wants. Is the president going to be president in 2031 again, as long as you people in NPP want? Is that the case?
We don't know about
is that the case moving forward?
We don't know about 2031. What we do know is 2026, he's our candidate.
Okay, Lamin can come now. Doc, you can put your question to Lamin before he will
go. Good, Lamin. It's been several times Hussein Dabo been running for president and of course not winning. I'm not a believer of, oh, we are cheated, we are this and that. I'm not a believer in that. Let me be honest with you. And I still believe that President Barrow would have won the 2021 election. It depends on who wants to believe and who does not. It's been several attempts. He is still your candidate. What would change in 2026? What is the messaging that would get you to power? What was it that did not get you in power that you would change this time around? And you believe that, of course, you would unseat the incumbent, who is hell-bent on doing everything to remain, as Tunkara already said, he is our candidate and they will do everything to keep him in State House. What would you do different?
All right. Thank you so much, Doc. I think from your questions, you've mentioned what do we think will get us into power? What does that which doesn't happen previously? I think Mr. Tunkara, myself, and you, Jobis, will agree with people who were saying that we do have a dictatorship here for the over Jammeh Saft. But we cannot say we have a dictator for over 2 decades. But in terms of election, we do not classify him as a dictator. That needs to be cleared. And the sole reason for people to perpetuate themselves into power is through elections. If you are a dictator and you want to consolidate power, you do it through elections. So whatever is talked about Jammeh, when it comes to election, nobody sees him as a dictator. And then the pattern of election that we were having, where if votes are casted, they are just packed together to be counted at one particular environment in the presence of state apparatus, in the absence of the UDP's representatives and other opposition parties. To me, I think that is the reason why we are not into government. Because it is my belief that if we are to consider Jammeh as a dictator, we should also consider the elections as an election that was conducted by a dictator. because the reason for dictators to stay in power is through elections. So if they cheated election, we should be seeing it as such. So let us not only see Jammeh as a dictator in human rights violations, but even electoral fraud.
What changed in 2016?
So
the dictator was actually contesting Adama Barrow. What changed in 2016? Yeah. Would the dictator still put those dictatorial tendencies to remain in power?
It is the collective uprising of those same opposition people, especially my party leaders, who went to prison. The agitation by the masses of the people who were supporting them, and the coming together of the coalition. But we've also realized that even the numbers that were attained by the coalition to achieve victory is as low as the number that UDP have in 2021 election. So it was a well-contested election. It is not easy for us, I'm talking from people's perspective, to unseat a dictator. But secondly, Doctor, we have to realize that the pattern of election have also changed from a pattern where if votes are counted, they are taken to one particular region to be counted, to a pattern where if votes are counted, if the votes are casted, they are counted at that particular spot. So this thing was also
I want to pin you at that. I want to pin you at that. Now the voting style has changed, and that was 2016 and 2021. But I've always heard from the UDP that you've been cheated even in the 2021 election. But of course, the election pattern now appears to me that is very free and fair in terms of counting on the spot. Why do you think, or why do many perceive that you were cheated in 2021? How?
So our position on why we are cheated was not on the election date, was on the registration process committed by the IEC, that people were registered out of the time frame given to the IEC. And we have proof of this. If we were given the chance to put our argument in the courts, we were ready to do it. But the NPP government, in cahoots with the IEC, refused that we should be heard at the courts based on technicality. So election is a very serious business because it gives a mandate to a particular person to run for 5 years, oversight over facilitating the administration and ensuring that things are distributed fairly or not. So election is very important. We should be given that fair share to put our argument before the court so that the courts can make a decision. So yes, we were cheated. And if we are given, because there is one common adage that he who alleges must prove. And the burden of proof rests on the shoulders of the plaintiff. We were ready to carry the burden of proof to the court so that the courts will make a judgment. But they refused us with that. So our argument was not the election date, but the registration process and our relationship with the ARAS, the 2021 electoral cycle was concerned.
Again, what do you think would change this time around after hearing the president saying all the people he appointed are actually going to hold on to his support, and we know alcalos and ministers, and of course ministers can support him because they are appointed by him, but alcalos and community leaders are now even compelled to support the presidency, and we know these are alcalos who actually give people how do they call them again, attestations that they are members of their communities. Don't you see that to be something that could lead to election malpractices coming into 2026?
Well, exactly, Doctor. Your opinion is confirmed by a recent survey, and that was the opinion of the people. The people, 100, a large chunk of the people are saying that there is going dead easy. This recent survey.
Your guys' internet is gone. I have a lot of questions for Tunkara. I saw he's smiling a lot. Tunkara, here you are. You need to buy him an internet.
People electoral integrity.
So we're gonna mute Lamin for now. His network is not.
So Tunkara, mute Lamin because we can't hear him. Tunkara,
So as
you've heard,
the EDP,
I want to bring back the
also
same question to you. I've listened to
have
the
that
president
faith.
in a rally in
The network
Suva.
is
He
coming
said,
back.
the alcalos, ministers and all of these, local authorities are going to hold on to his candidacy and they are going to support it.
Lamin, can you
And
hear us now? I believe
this
if you
is
turn off your
something
camera, you'll be fine. Yeah. Go
this
ahead.
is something we thought we have a problem with, during the dictatorship. And I think alcalos, because they lead in communities, and these communities should be independent enough to make their own informed choices. But if you compel alcalos to really support the leadership of the government of the day, and they are going to also compel their people to actually, support that regime, and they might not be supporting the regime because they want it, but of course they want to defend the alcalos. And we have seen the regime actually firing some alcalos in some communities that, in my belief, is a threat. Don't you see that as a threat into the election year?
Before going on that, let me come back to the election cheating that UDP always said. In my view, UDP does that in 2021 just to massage the egos of their supporters. It's as simple as ABC. I mean, they just have to know when to accept elections. MPP always accept outcome of every election in this country. Come on, man, for God's sake. When people were doing the registration, they organize mobs to go and harass people and say you cannot register, you are a foreigner. Who are they? We have institutions in this country that deal with these issues. So we must learn to trust our institutions. These institutions are not built by NPP. We met them there. They have been running things over the years. So, okay, if we were actually having the number that they say that we cheated, why didn't we bring the same people to come and vote for us in parliamentary election? Why? Within 4 months.
They said they actually put him some security measures.
If you look at the 2021 elections, adding all the opposition numbers together, President Moro still give them a significant change to go home with. Add all of that vote together, we still beat them massively. So it was a landslide. It's a very simple thing. They were delusional, thinking that they will win election but did nothing. You don't win election in bed. Yes, we agree. NPP, we've done so much work. Let me tell you what we do. Okay, my part in 2021, for instance, when voter registration started, we went our own areas and mobilized our people and galvanized their support and increased awareness about the need for voter registration. There's no way you can express your love for President Barrow if you can't vote for him in December 2021. So where we used to register 800 votes, guess what? We are able to have convinced people to come and register more than 1,800 votes. That is more than 100% increment. So if we are able to do this across the board, what makes you think we will not deal with them? We were not.
Do you think it's right to tell alcalos that they must support the incumbent?
No, I'm talking about their election defeat first.
I understand that. I understand that. Now I'm asking you. Now I'm asking you this question.
Now let's go back to alcalos. For the alcalos, NPP, everybody know NPP. NPP is a government that government can predict, and President Barrow is the one person that is predictable. He has never made a threat to any alcalo, and he will never do. He has never.
We have seen alcalos being fired. We have seen alcalos being fired.
Well, alcalos has been fired ever since in this country. In fact, President Barrow's time is even much better. Because
because they have been fired before, they should continue to be fired.
No. What I'm saying, alcalos been fired, as that has always been happening. But one thing you cannot find NPP does, or President Barrow do, is to say that he has fired someone because he went against him.
But that is basically what an alcalo said. He said the simple reason I am removed from my position is because I welcome
everybody. Alcalo is a politician. He is a politician. That's why.
But the alcalos who support NPP are not politicians.
No. What I'm saying, alcalo that come out and make that public statement is a confirmation that alcalo is a partisan politician.
How is that a confirmation?
Come on, we have a channels. In the country, we have a.
But didn't he have right to
an alcalo who has a banner with him and President Barrow going to Barrow's rallies and of course supporting him is not a politician, should remain as an alcalo. But the one who does not support Barrow is a politician and should be fired.
I'm talking about alcalo that come out and say that I was removed because of politics. Then he is a politician.
So the one that remains, and we are seeing them doing politics every day.
If you go to, for instance, IEC elections, if you go for voter registration, alcalos, they're not only people who give people the certificate to go and register. Okay. Number two, there's a processes. Number two, after every voter registration, IEC will publish the list at every village, every ward, every polling station, pasted it in your area. The honor is on all of everybody there to come and see if you see a name that is not from your area. Then you can take that person. And number 3, you can always take that matter to court. UDP lost their IEC court because of the incompetency of their lawyers, not because of NPP. What does NPP do with lawyers?
Should NPP be firing Alcalos because of their political beliefs?
We do not fire Alcalos because of politics. Any Alcalo that is fired, I can assure you, any Alcalo that is fired, if you look at it, you will find that Alcalo might either be a partisan. There are so many people that are against the NPP. They are not fired. President Moro making that statement.
So any Alcalo that is partisan should be fired.
Well, you cannot be in government and be against government. That's not happening.
How is an Alcalo in government?
The Alcalos are the local authorities. They work with actually work with governors, okay, and they are expected to dispense justice with fairness. Do you get?
So now, if they are hell bent on supporting, if they are hell bent on supporting NPP, that is fair.
Let me learn, doctor. If an Alcalo is too partisan, they actually use their authority to deny other party members. President Moro is the president of this country, but he knows where all the time NPP caps.
My Alcalo, let me tell you this. My Alcalo is a staunch supporter of the NPP. Isn't he partisan?
Well, I mean, being a strong support, we are all support. Even you, deep down in your heart, there's one party you support. It's love to you to say.
I am not in any authority in the Gambia to sort out that. You talked about Alcalos being partisan. I'm talking about an Alcalos who support you are not partisan, but Alcalos who support the opposition are partisan. Is that the case?
Traditionally, Alcalos are authority in their local domains. And
Yes.
Alcalos are answerable and they are working closely with the governors. Alcalos have a special treatment in their societies because of authority. And authority,
that is why they should be independent.
That's what I'm saying. That authority has everything to do with aligning yourself with the government. Even if you are where area that you cannot agree with the government, there should be a principle. There should be an agreement on principles. Alcalos are meant to be at the meeting grounds when the president is there, for instance, not a political rally, but if the president is at Meet the Farmers store, for instance, governors and Alcalos are meant to be there. If you observe, President Moro and every government functional like the just store that we just came from, the electrification, inauguration of electricity project that has been going on. If you look at it, the permanent secretary of Ministry of Energy is the one that has been used as MC. He is not a politician. Are you telling me because that permanent secretary is in there, even though his minister might be a politician, but he's a technocrat and he served as MC of the program throughout, is a politician? Who knows? That MC that is there might not even necessarily be a sympathetic to NPP, but he works in government. And government belongs to Gambian. This government is for all of us. Alcalo, the same thing applies to, if President Moro go to an area, all Alcalos keep, and they give them that honor, okay? And even create a seat for them and say, these are Alcalos that are coming for their seat. So Alcalos are naturally coming there. But if you as an Alcalo, you are serving your people, and you are not in line with the government policy and principle, you can always work with government on principle. You cannot be forced to support a party, even if you are forced to support a party. For God's sake.
How do Alcalos work with government? How do Alcalos work with government?
Do your job.
What is their job? What is their job?
What is their job? They have their, when they are giving their appointment letters, I have never been Alcalo. I have never seen the appointment letter, but I do know when they are giving the appointment letter by governors, they have their TOR just like Safos.
Right. So Alcalos are not politicians, and they probably don't work for any central government. These are just local structures to actually regulate our societies, because some of these Alcalos basically are actually, matters of lineage and of course inheritance. So now if a government comes and say, okay, those in support of us, of course, are okay, but those in support of oppositions are to be fired. I know you will not agree with this, but of course
we have not fired any Alcalo because of your. We have not fired any Alcalo.
I can mention several of them, but anyway, I'm not compelling you to agree
Please
to that.
do.
I have another question.
I cannot show you. I want to know. We don't do that. MPP, we don't do that.
The Alcalo of Wulinkama was heard in a video telling why he was removed because the opposition wins in his community. The Alcalo of another place in Fonyi not long ago was heard that he was removed because he's actually.
But the Fonyi one was reinstated back.
I'm not sure if it's okay. If it's reinstated, that means you know that you actually fired him wrongly. But
He
again,
was
that is not
actually
that
fired.
is not the
He was
point.
not
Let's
actually fired.
Yes.
what was done? His
No,
stamp
no.
was deliberately taken from him. What is
Exactly,
that?
because he was abusing it. He was allegedly, let me know that abusing. He was allegedly to be abusing it.
Okay. So moving forward, I mean, Mr. Tungara. Now that we are in a political, oh, Doc, you have another question? Go ahead.
I have a lot of questions for Tunkara,
Dog,
but most.
I'm ready for you, Doc.
All right. Now, another of my question would be: NPP government is highly characterized as a corrupt one. What is your reaction to that?
I mean, it's because we have done so much, and people don't. So many people, they are not expecting President to do this deliverance when it comes to development. So, and I don't know if the people keep saying there's a corruption, because there's a whole lot of money. There's a management. President has been able to manage our resources. That's the truth. He has been pushing for transparency. You might not agree with me on this, but being someone close to power, I know for sure how some of these things. I'm not saying there's no corruption. I will be very dishonest. I will be very dishonest.
Let me be honest with you. I will not disagree with you because the president has set up several commissions that are geared towards accountability and, of course, making sure that the right things are done. The local government commission and other commissions. If it is a government that does not care, will not do anything like that. We've seen another committee by the National Assembly to look into assets here and there. But don't you think that some of those things could have been avoided?
That is why we just have to push our government to go to do away from these human interferences in a cross-board of government operations. I'm sure you live abroad. You know what it takes. If a human interference are too much in anything, there are bound to be a loophole. There are bound to be a glitches. There are bound to be a back and forth. So people are going to be tempted to do things they're not supposed to do. Okay, but if we moved into digital, I'm sure some of these things can be, because in digital there are things that once you click it, it appears somewhere that you don't even know.
What is actually delaying the transition into a digital economy when you have a minister of digital economy for this long?
That is why President Barrow, for the first time, he is the one that created Minister of Digital Economy.
But what has it's been 8 years and the economy is still very crude like it used to.
Correction, Doctor. Ministry of Digital Economy has been created just after 2021. Before 2021, we only have Minister of Information, or how do you call it? But it was after that, President Barrow decided to create Ministry of Digital Economy and Ministry of Public Service reforms. All these things are institutions. President Barrow believes in allowing our institution of government to operate. He does not believe in leadership centering about, I am the president, what I say stand. He is not that kind of leader.
He's in digitizing the economy? How far are we in digitizing the economy?
Well, I mean, I do not work at that ministry, but I can tell you for free, the ministry, they are doing a whole lot. And then I will not be able to speak authoritatively on what they are doing, because I have not had opportunity to even interact with the minister.
Yeah, let me confirm whether we have Lamin with us. Lamin, can you hear us?
Sorry?
Lamin, UDP need to get this guy a new internet. Why do we need the Ministry of Public Service when we have PMO? Is that not duplication of efforts? What is the difference between PMO and Ministry of
PMO is a directorate.
Yes.
So it's a directorate. So it does not have that executive authority to assert certain policy shifts, but creating a ministry that has given a minister an executive authority to push for certain policy review and policy shift and policy change.
What gives a ministry and a directorate, authority? That is just the president to give you that. We give you this mandate to operate in this.
That is not how it is. That's not how government works, Doctor.
How does government work?
Minister, if you look at it now, ever since
it seems like Lamin is talking. Lamin, can you hear us?
The current government significantly improved when it comes to digitalizing the Department of Government and agencies and ministries. If you go to most of the ministries,
Mr. Tungara, I want to put you on hold for now and hear Lamin's perspective from that point, because
what's wrong with it?
Okay.
Doc said we really need a phone for him. Lamin, I think so far you've heard enough from Mr. Tungara. What will be your reaction to his statements?
No, but the case was
Doug was asking Tunkara about digital. And I am here with Tunkara in the same country. I'm struggling to use software. Where is Gamtel today? If you are to digitalize, you need Gamtel. Let Tunkara put us into confidence where Gamtel is, Gambia telecommunication network. Because we cannot rely on officials. These are not state parastatals and whatnot. These are private institutions. So Tunkara should let us know if we are going to use private institutions to digitalize ourselves and our economy, or we are going to use Gamtel, because as far as Gamtel is nowhere to be found now, because many are saying that Gamtel has been already auctioned and then it's already bought by certain group.
What UDP would do different come 2026 if they happen to win the election?
But the exact opposite is what we are going to do, and that is the reason why we put the public into confidence that Gamtel is auctioned to people that are, it is not even gazetted. Certain institutions, if we are going to put them in auction, at least gazette it, so that myself, Jovis, and Doctor will know, okay, there is something auction, and we want to also have. Mr. Tungara, come in, please.
Lamin, are you still with us?
Yeah, he's here.
Yes.
Here.
Going into 2026, what is the message that UDP is coming that you think would actually get you to State House, different from every other year?
So our message is clear, Doctor. I think our message resonates with what we are already facing. We have made an all-inclusive policy document. Exactly at our retreat that we are going to prefer solutions if we are voted into office. But how do we communicate in this message is very important, because today there is a sectorial failure that the Gambia is confronted with. If you go to the hospitals, I can tell you for the fact that people are admitted on chairs, where a patient will be seated for 2 to 3 hours for you to be taking your medications. That is a fact that I have seen myself, that I have been confronted with, because I've taken my mother to one of the hospitals. But beyond that, if you look at the security also, we can, you and everyone in the comment section or our viewers can confirm that we are at a state where even those that are working in bureaus are not safe now. And the primary role of the state is to ensure that there is security. This is why a chunk of our state resources are put into ensuring that we have a security system, where people, a coordinated security system that is going to be used to protect people. But time and again, we've seen these same people that are to be protected being killed by, people that are not even Gambians, because many of these, people that have killed people in the bureaus are not Gambians. But beyond that, that is security part of our economy now. Was it not yesterday or so that we've seen the president, brandishing his hands in the air, throwing euros, hard currency, giving it to a griot? Is that not an impeachable offense, Doctor? Because we have a Dallas here. I think the president in his dealing should be dealing with Dallases. But what came into the mind of the president to be using a hard currency to give to a griot? That alone is an impeachable offense, because the president should declare his assets. And I know the president should not do that. That is Joe Prodigal. It shouldn't be a case where a leader be seen, throwing such an amount of cash when citizens are dying in the bagways, when people are complaining about basic equipment in the hospitals, when the farmers are complaining that their groundnuts are not being bought at a better price, compared to last season, when all sectors have failed in totality, and seeing the president, because the funniest thing is the project that the president is celebrating to the extent of hard currencies to give to griots. This is confirmed to be sponsored in totality by ECOWAS. ECOWAS confirmed that it is their project in collaboration with Ministry of Petroleum and NAWEC. So what does the president have in celebrating in such a manner? It is unacceptable. If this would be a case for impeachment, because it's a prima facie already. And we've seen the same trajectory with Dusano.
So these are the messages that the Gambians themselves know are happening, and we are just going to amplify it to them so that they know that we as the opposition are in line with the conditions and they are applied. And then we have a document. UDP has a document where we have priorities over the first 100 days, what we are going to do, those the first 3 months, and the first 365 days, the first 1 year, what we are going to do. And part of them is how do we ensure that we empower and we provide employment for the youths, because we are not only going to employ youths. Employment itself is one, but how do we empower these youths? Because our program, if you go into detail, is that we as UDP, if we are in government, we ensure that if we train you in, and then you NPP is just difficult to explain it. How can you train people in skill sector?
Doctor.
No, let me finish with him, and then we would have you with your stuff. Lamin, here we are. NPP recently declared that they're going to give 50 million to NPP, women, probably those who have their membership card. What is your reaction to that? Lamin, can you hear me?
So that's a confirmation of the select disproportion of. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Doctor, this is my point. This is my point. At least it is a fact that our youths have been. But doctor is speaking and I'm not getting him.
No, go ahead. We are hearing you. Go ahead.
Okay. So now to your question, doctor. And it's important that 50 million be channeled into addressing the issue of youth unemployment and empowerment. Because today, the reason why Barrow was in government because of that women couple of NPP. It's because of a collective. A collective voted him into office. So he should be considerate of that collective. And especially the young people, the youths, the cream of this society in Libya. Some are trapped in these Arabian countries. Others are trapped, sick, and about to, they definitely need medical attention because of the conditions that they are living there. But we've seen a government that has zero interest in empowering these people, but have 100% interest in empowering those that will keep him perpetuating himself into. So it is unacceptable, because the difference is what we are going to do as a UDP government. We are going to empower these young people through our youth empowerment fund. And if we have a youth empowerment fund, this fund will be disbursed to people that have skills, people that have businesses, young entrepreneurs, so that they are able to go about doing something with their businesses. But you cannot only empower a faction of a political society whilst you live in a vast majority of the others. And then the responsibility is for you to ensure that you provide for all. Because from the beginning, Mr. Tunkara was talking about the developments of the president and the reason why he should continue. But the reason why we put the president there is because we want development. So he cannot be the only person that will be giving the development. We have over 2.5 million people, credible, competent young women and men that can take it from where he stops. So let him give us what belongs to us now. Because yourself, Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I think that's very clear.
What is that? What is that? Give us what belongs to us now.
Let me talk to Tunkara.
The presidency is for the people. It's not for one person to be perpetuating yourself in. It's for the people.
You cannot.
Yes.
NPP, you got to stop self-perpetuation. Give another person. I'm just teasing you. Here, Tunkara. Lamin had told us what exactly the UDP would do and what exactly is at stake. You've heard him extensively and quite elaborate. Why should we vote NPP come 2026 and more so the president, the incumbent?
Honestly, Lamin didn't tell her what they would do. Lamin has been talking about all the same old stories. I mean, he's talking about youth empowerment. We will build skills. We have already built a USET. We are not building skills. We are not empowered. Anybody who's coming after President Barrow, you are not going to try to build skills. You just have to concentrate on improving and expanding. President Barrow have laid a foundation for a modern government. That's the truth. You like it or not? Is it university of a public service university? USET? or ICT, the new laboratory, or the new medical facility, or 1,500 bed in Faraba, a route across the West Coast here, and how do you call it? Anywhere you go to in West Coast and Cape, that's everywhere.
Do you mean the 1,500 beds in Farato or Faraba?
In Farato, yes.
Okay.
It's
That's a
almost
hospital, right?
It's near completion. We were there last year with him. Okay, the laboratory at the turntable is completed. The expansion of route everywhere. What are you talking about? You're talking about Gamcell. I mean, what does Gamcell has to do with your SIM card? Come on, man. Government Telecom has been privatized. For your information, if you don't know, just know from today. It has been privatized before President Moro come to power. That is why QCell official come into being. The telecom sector has been privatized. What the government control is a gateway, okay? And then people are free to put their money into any business. So if you don't have internet, please buy QCell or officer so you can get a better connection. You're talking about peacefulness.
you are doing advert for QCell.
Peacefulness. Gambia just last 2 weeks, okay? Gambia has been ranked as the 4th most peaceful country in the West Africa.
Hello, Tunkara. Tunkara, let's pin it at that. Let's pin it there. We have seen Gambians dying in their bureaus, Gambians, killed in their homes, Gambians killed in the streets. Compared to the sub-region, of course, we are doing better, but that's the sub-region. But compared to Gambia of yesterday and Gambia of today, we are not doing any better. Internally, we are not.
Nobody should die under any other circumstances, be it attack or road accident. It's a state responsibility to protect even people on the roads that they are in their private cars. We as a government, we are very much cognizant of that fact. But however, opposition should not take some of these isolated cases as a basis for political message. For instance, he's put emphasis on their retreat. Since after 2021 elections, where do you see UDP or UDP students being even called for a convergence? Apart from political rally, bringing people to a rally. I mean, a political party, in my view, should be a government in waiting. UDP all what they are doing is they are hungry for power, but I don't think they are prepared to, or they know what they want to do with the power. Because
are you not hungry to stay in power?
They have not done anything to want them to be in government. In fact, they have been in government before. We all know what happened when teachers strike. What did the party leader do?
You fired them.
Their party leader threatened them that he was going to sack them, anybody who strikes. That's the kind of government that they are going to bring to this country. Come on, man. Governments are not stupid. Governments know what is going on. Governments know that who is peaceful, who listens to people. President Moro, at every strike, at every point in time, President Moro will call on ministers. He will prevail on them, even against them, and tell them, look, we need to sit and dialogue. This country belongs to all of us. That is the principle that he built on all of us. You cannot fight for anything. That is our leader. He believed peace. He believed we need to sit and discuss. This country belongs to all of us. So we are not a group of people where it's either their way or highway. Okay? And we are not the people who are causing opposition, for instance. UDP, just simple opposition among themselves. The whole country will be aware of what is happening. You're talking about.
Let me bring Lamin onto that. Lamin, are you with us?
Yes, I am here. I'm here.
Okay, what will be your reaction to his argument that UDP have nothing to offer to the Gambian?
So you see, I think this should be an intellectual discussion. Mr. Tunkara should not be speaking from a point of hypothesis. Mr. Tunkara should be speaking from a point of what they have on paper, on document. Whatever I am saying here is on document. And I am taking advantage of that document because I know you, Dr. Mr. Tunkara and Ali Job, you can reference the document. So let Mr. Tunkara put us into confidence here. Are there documents where you can read the policies and the programs of the NPP? Those programs that are tailored to alleviating the plight and concerns of the young people in particular, but the students in general. My points were on that. I have mentioned the 5 points.
Is your question
okay?
Is the question is 2021 to 2026 or 2026 to 2031? Which one is the question? So I can know when to come.
So
you are asking our policy document, right?
No, the question wasn't that. The question was Lamin's reactions on your remarks. Lamin, your role is not to ask Mr. Tungara the question. I want you to address what Mr.
Let's
Tungara
have
has
a
just said.
conversation. Not anybody can ask anything. Let's have a conversation. For
Exactly.
me, this is not about partisan politics. It's about young people of a country who have a shared goal. We all want something for our country. We all believe in something. At the end of the day, the common denominator here is the Gambia, and then we should be professional enough to have this conversation. We cannot all have the same mindset about politics and who we believe in and who we want to support, but we all can have a very very fruitful conversation as for what we think and basically what we have in stock and what we can offer. So that's basically the good thing about this conversation. So Lamin could of course react to Tunkara, and Tunkara can react, and Lamin could ask, and Tunkara could ask. Anybody can ask. You can ask me a question if you do feel like. Let's just have a conversation that is geared towards 2026 and what is at stake and what the Gambia definitely yearns for. A UDP government, an NPP government, an opposition coalition, of course, a continuity for Barrow and his NPP, group or whatever. Let's have that conversation and hear what Tunkara, Lamin. Of course, Job always tried not to have an opinion, though. I don't know if he belongs to NPP or not, but anyway, he tries not to have an opinion. But Lamin, here I want to ask you this question. You've heard what Tunkara said, and we've also heard NPP, with the way they do politics. One thing we cannot take from the NPP is that anytime an opposition is doing one thing or another, they go out for you and they do everything to get you. Here you are, UDP in opposition. But NPP in power would still go for oppositions to come and join them, and probably to come and join their alliance, and of course, see us partners. And UDP is now calling for other oppositions to come and join them instead of forming a coalition that other people think. Why do you think, I've seen your reaction onto the Separatist report. Why do you think there should be a UDP-led coalition instead of, an independent-led coalition going into 2026 against the incumbents? Lamin, can you hear me?
Yes, I think I just let me confirm from you that if I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, Doctor, if you look at the history of the United Democratic Party, you will agree with me that UDP is formed out of a coalition to contest the 1996 election, where the NPP, the PPP, the NCP, and then the other parties came together to form a strong outfit to contest the 1996 election. So that alone talks a lot about UDP. We were formed our nation to confront a system. So when we said we needed a party-led coalition, I think we needed to go about with that, because we have tested an independent-led coalition and we all know where it landed us. It landed us badly. If we are to see it as flight, we landed badly with an independent coalition, independent-led coalition. Everything scattered. It started with the promise was scattered. But as this was a party-led coalition, at least there is a political party to take the blame for whatever happens in 26. Today, people are pointing their UDP, but we all know the president of the United Democratic Party and stand as an independent candidate. So, but people will just, and blind their eyes over that and still blame UDP for the failure of 2016. So I think they are unfairly blaming us for what seems that Barrow is the case. If we are to go into party coalition, which has never happened, give it a test. We see what is going to happen, because we have given an independent-led coalition and you were putting it to Mr. Tunkara as to what led to what we are in today. It should be in 3 years. He failed. 5 years now, they are even talking that 5 is a coalition government, when an independent guy is subscribed to 3 years. So our position is clear, also anchored on our electoral successes that we have registered in the opposition bench. Because over the past electoral cycles, UDP was able to have the highest number of votes in opposition bench. But even the surveys also are manifesting that. So imagine today, those that have yet to contest elections, or those that have contested election and know their strength. calling you to stand down so that we can have an independent-led coalition. Are we not running of going back to what had already happened? That is the Barrow's era. So today, our position is cleared by going of what the party leader A.N.M. Dabo said. We are ready for coalition, but we are not ready to select flag bearers. We are not ready for that. So I think we are talking to a lot of political parties. Lots of political parties. You will agree with me that there are over 20 political parties here. But just look at the noise that is being peddled in the social media. You believe with me that it's not over those 30 political parties that are doing that. So we are doing house-to-house engagement, roundtable discussion with all these political parties. And then if it's too early, Doug, to form a coalition now. I believe it is too early to form a coalition now. All successful coalitions were formed at least 4 to 5 months before elections. But as we are in now, there is a back and forth as to the party positions of every political party. But UDP is still in conversation with all these political parties. It is just few group of people that are making noise on the social media. But on the ground, we are doing a lot of political engagements to form this formidable coalition that will unseat Barrow. So my position is we have tested an independent-led coalition. It woefully failed. No success, zero success. Today, they are even comparing themselves with the Jammeh regime that they characterize as a dictatorial regime. Because Mr. Tunkara was saying that certain alcalos were dismissed or fired or removed from their office more than what they are doing today. That is a comparison that he is making. And
that's what I said.
we as the electorate, when we are bringing this is exactly the point that we are in opposed of. But even by saying that I am going to bring my Asobi and it's going to be, even Jammeh, I've never heard him utter such kind of statements. People said he did, but I'm yet to see it. And it should be popular because Barrow made it very popular that even the Minister of Justice will put on the regalia of NPP. All these things are not, strategies in democracy. Because if you go to the constitution, he said the sovereignty of the Gambia is in the hands of the people of the Gambia, from whom all organs of government derives their authority and in whose names. So this party, state institutions are run from the social contracts that we have with the government. So the president should not politicize every state institutions to his advantage. That is not what we voted for as far as state is concerned.
Thank you, Lamin. We have 4 minutes to go. Doc, maybe you can ask Mr. Tunkara, the president with small capital P,
All right,
to make his last question.
Mr. Yeah, Jammeh used to say, if he say in his presence, I am president of student union, he will tell you, no, there is only one president, and he was the president. Well, let me ask you this question, not really politics of the NPP. Personally, where do you see yourself towards 2031 as in a youth politician in the NPP?
Well, I don't know what future holds for me. What I do know for sure is I'm committed to the party and I'm committed to serving my people. I'm committed to getting involved and making sure that we effect changes when necessary. And then changes, not necessarily government changes, change in government, but of course, when young people come together to participate in nation buildings, it re-energizes the leadership to rethink of some of the direction that they're taking. So I am interested in very much staying involved. I have no plan of exiting in politics. And then for what future holds for me, I don't know. But of course, for NPP, we are here to stay.
Tunkara, you answer questions so vaguely. Do you want to be a parliamentarian? Do you want to be a minister? Do you want to see yourself holding office in the NPP government?
If opportunity avails itself, I mean, why not?
Thank you very much. Mr. Mane, of course, you two are very prominent young people. Listening to you give me a lot of smiles that, of course, we have very conscious young people, even though from diverse political, views and all of that. But I'm very much, I think that's very respectable that you could, put up your points in a very professional way. And of course, people that are listening could learn a lot from. Mr. Mane, I've seen you get involved in a lot. When I listen to you, I see a lot of potential. You really dissect matters in the way you can. I've listened to a lot of platforms where you're becoming, the little orator of the the UDP. You're really defending this party at every go, and the way you do it is quite exceptional in my view. Where do you see yourself in the party structures or in the politics of our country going forward?
Thank you so much. As an individual that is going to participate highly in addressing the
Can you pick that again, because you are breaking, Lamin.
that
NPP is affecting your internet again.
Yeah.
confront.
The village people are working. Lamin, we can't hear you. Can you
Tungara, why are you doing that to him?
It is not us.
Lamin, we can't hear you.
All the GSM operators are NPP, right?
For that, and that is the United Democratic Party. And I know it is not doable at this lower rank.
Location might be the challenge.
I muted him, so I believe.
Please,
So Tungara, my question to you would be: I knew you have interacted with President Barrow. How would you describe President Barrow in one sentence?
President Barrow is, in one sentence, I would call him very. I think what I take from him is
this is what
to everybody. That's something that touches me. Anytime I sat with him, I had opportunity to see him. We sat. He will listen, even if when he knew that you are making nonsense, he makes you feel like you are making sense. He makes you feel like I'm going to take your decision actually. So that's why he was able to build a coalition around himself. I don't know how he do it, but I always ask sometimes. I don't know how.
And you people were able to get Honorable Jambe, Umar Jambe today. How was the feeling at the bureau?
Great. Actually, it happened in Makati, in Honorable's constituency.
Okay, so, Lamin, you can come. I think Lamin wanted to say something. Lamin, you can come. You can react on.
The failure of UDP is what MPP take advantage of. we go after every single person because everybody matters in politics. We don't exclude people, and we don't think anybody is nobody. Everybody is somebody. That's what we believe. That's
Lamin, you can come. You can come. I know your network is terrible. It's really terrible down there, and he's in Brufut. That's Doctor's village.
Oh, don't call it a village. Brufut is a town, bro.
Dubai. Dubai.
All right. Go ahead, Lamin. I think you can hear.
It's actually Dubai.
But yeah, you've done well in my community. Commendations to that. Even though
I live there, so I know I live there.
On matters relating to who killed the cops, you people did terribly bad. but in terms of infrastructure in our community, honestly, that's respectable, honestly. And the good thing is that I've listened to people talk about, oh no, roads are just roads. Roads are not just roads. Roads bring connectivity. Roads improve commerce. Roads improve, business. Roads make sure that access to schools, access to facilities, improve economy. Anything you can think of in terms of development, roads really help in those connectivities. They connect the rural to the urban, trade, linkages, and farm materials into the urban, the food basket, and of course, all the value chains you can think about. The roads improve that. And when you talk about youth employment and, of course, skills development and capacity, you can't do all of these things in the absence of electricity and connectivity. Now, there is nothing that we do outside of this phone now. And there is really nothing we do outside of electricity. To sew your clothes, you need electricity. Eyes, you need electricity. To barb your hair, you need electricity. So every skill you think about in terms of empowering young people is access to, roads and, of course, electricity. That I would commend the government.
Commend them for that. Yeah.
Entirely the government's money. Sometimes it's through partnership. But that is what government is about. It's about, leveraging on those partnerships. Even though, probably Tunkara knows I am a very strong critique of the government. I used to think Barrow is a nice guy until my own brother got jailed for no reason. And I really don't apologize for that. But when the goods happen, you really can appreciate that, of course, there are a lot of good things happening in the Gambia. And Gambia has changed a lot. Even though I am a
Exactly.
believer in term limit, I believe that somebody else should be picked by the NPP, and Barrow would actually, go soldier to make sure this person is elected and NPP remains in power. But that is not me to decide. If NPP wants Barrow to remain, I don't believe any person should rule the Gambia more than 10 years. But honestly, in terms of road infrastructure, electricity connectivity, isa wulo ko nyawa fa ko nyingol ko itala. That's a good commendation for you.
That's what UDP, not oppositions, but that's UDP felt, and they cannot accept it. Sometimes it helps you as an opposition to agree certain things and also provide alternatives.
No,
So
but
that
I think UDP too knows that the road infrastructure is important. They
Yeah, I
also
believe they usually admit that. They say that development
Of
is
course,
not only about roads.
politicians would always have their way to say, yeah, this is good, but because if you speak like me, who is not a politician, but of course I'm getting into politics, and the whole point is that I'm going to oppose your government.
Our 2021 election campaign was very simple. 3 messages. We want to continue with the expansion of road, electricity, and water supply. That's what we told Gambians, and we are doing it.
But again, I have to buy electric poles for some of my, properties. Why are we buying?
Well, that's because you are in a haste. You could not wait for now. If you do, you don't have to.
I think Tungara is a big politician now. Tungara, it's good to have you. And then, I know a lot of people are going to be very surprised. They're really surprised, hearing.
How long should I wait in Combo to actually get an electric pole that I got to buy? Why should I wait for that?
So, by end of this year, I mean, after 2026 elections, what we want to do is no more talking about electricity or water. We're talking about other things in this country. We are going to focus on social intervention programs. Gambia is going to be a lot of social intervention policies moving forward.
Yeah, so we will allow you to make your last remark, but the comment section, they are really very excited with all of you, Doc.
I saw this President Al Hassan Drame. Tell him to calm down. One thing I like about NPP, you know how they get people?
Yes.
No matter what you say about the NPP, they still look at you with smiles and they still try to cajole you into them.
Yeah, but he said he did a great job. He was my teacher.
Tell him to calm down. Tell him to calm down a little bit.
He taught
we don't freeze over comments. The whole point is that this is our country and it's the common denominator. You might like the government, you might not like the government, but of course there are things that have been done. And, Gambians believe in the tangible things that they can see. It's like if you go to like my community, Bruford, even though it's within the urban, if you look at Bruford 10 years ago, how we used to struggle to just get to Gamtel. And then you come there today, you want to tell me, oh, government is not doing well. I'm just looking at you like, dude, do you know what I'm coming out from? That's one thing. And another thing is if you go to rural communities who have never seen electricity for 50 years and you want to tell them, oh, this government, they will look at you like,
you can make a last remark. I think
probably UDP has a better alternative. Let's hear from Lamin. Lamin, we've seen electricity, we've seen roads and all of that. Commendable efforts from the NPP government. What would you do better? It's gone.
Lamin, we are not bringing
President Barrow was able to start this project after removing UDP folks from government. While we were stagnant.
You are throwing shots, you are throwing jabs on them now. I think we will bring you back again in our subsequent discussions. It is usually difficult to have. It's usually difficult to have your people, and having you.
We are always available. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so we are very grateful for having you here, and I said we are deeply grateful for having you here. And those of you who are actually writing on the comment section, we thank you all for your followership. And those of you also who are watching from YouTube as well, we thank you for your subscription. Continue subscribing. We will bring in Honorable Mr. President, Tunkara, most frequent, especially.
Probably is going into the National Assembly next, right?
He's going to contest.
I think he's a smart guy.
Exactly.
I like the dude. I don't like NPP, but I like the dude. Not that I don't like NPP. I really think they're doing a lot of good, but I have my reservations. That's personal. That has nothing to do with the governance, whatever. But also, I think that no one person should rule beyond 10 years. You're smart. Probably another person rule for another 10 years. You can become president. Why not?
Your last statement, Mr. Tungara. Your last statement.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share this platform with you and the doctor and my colleague, Mr. Mane. Next time, I'll make sure that I call him and make sure that he has the internet because I want to say it to his face, so he say it to my face. So that's what I want. But I'm happy to be here, and then thank you very much. And looking forward for more of this. I mean, Gambia belongs to all of us. My final word is, Gambia is our country. Government come and go, president come and go, party live and die at some point, but Gambia remain forever. There was a Sadauda, there was a Jammeh, and now it's Adama Barrow, an MPP. There's gonna be, who knows tomorrow is who. So the common denominator, like Doctor would always say, is Gambia. We have to make sure we protect the country. We all act in the best interest of the country, and we all participate. We don't have to agree all the time. We can agree and disagree, but at the end of the day, we must not bring the roof down because we could not agree. That's not be the case. That's what I have to say. And as young people, we have to get involved. And there's no point of sitting at the corner and saying, I'm not a politician. I mean, politicians decide what happens to us, what we do, what we eat, they decide our policy, our social lives. So it's very important for us to get involved as young people. We cannot afford to be sitting. And a leadership, you can't be handed over leadership in a silver plate. You just have to make your hands dirty. That's what I believe in.
All right. So
That's all my fellow youths.
in one word, before Doctor will actually make his last remarks, who is your political figure? I mean, the one who inspired you in NPP today.
My political figure. You mean in Gambia or where?
You're Messi. You're Messi in NPP.
Well,
Just
President
one
Barrow
word.
is my Messi.
I mean, the young politicians. I mean, you have a lot of young. You have CDC, you have Sabali, you have Doctor and others.
Well, all these people I've been working with. I've known them. We are working together. I mean, we learn from them. We learn from their experience and expertise, and then that is what it is. But
Thank you. Thank you so much for
I
having
am
me.
into,
Your
I
last
am
name?
into politics largely because of President Barrow.
This
Is that
guy
President Barrow?
is very Sabali and Dr. Bias. Don't say they are your political mentors. Because of President Barrow. You are an independent person who has the ability to think and reason, and of course to sit with the president and of course put your own ideas out there. Look, I trust you from today, man. I want to see you become National Assembly member and
He's
be
in
better.
Brookwood.
Become
I think you
president.
live
Why
in
not?
Brookwood. You live in
Because
Brookwood,
you
right?
live in Brookwood, you're
Yes,
smart.
I
Because
do.
smart people come from
We are
Brookwood. So
neighbors.
you're not from what?
Lavin
But
also
but
is from Brookwood.
to conclude this conversation, it's very good to have this conversation with you. I've not heard a very interesting and interactive conversation like this in a long time. Of course, we have, probably, older people in the NPP, and sometimes they're very careful what they're saying. But we can, as young people, have an open conversation while we put our, points quite respectably. At the end of the day, all we see here is the Gambia. If it is not the Gambia, we will not have this conversation.
Honestly.
But here we are talking about our country. At the end of the day, whoever becomes president and whoever loses election, Gambia continues, and there is no stopping in that. People live and die, and of course Gambia remains, and generations come and go, but of course the country would still remain. So either we like it or not, it's what we see, and we cannot change that. And there is nothing like we puzzle. You take yours and you take your Gambia and I take my Gambia. There is no NPP Gambia and there is no UDP Gambia or UMC Gambia. It's just the Gambia, and this is where we all claim identity with, and therefore its best interest should serve our interest, even though we would have our differences in terms of our political support and political ideas and ideologies. But being able to do exercise our political rights with rights within a respectable framework is what really sets us apart. More so when you have student wings, it's no longer politics of the normal, throwing stones and insulting, but it's about people who are intellectually trained to come out and sell their ideas and of course communicate intellectually, and of course criticize and of course give genuine critiques on things that needs to be done, things that need to be improved on. You of course would make salient points on what UDP is not doing better, and of course they could tell what the regime is not doing better, and then we all learn from that and of course build on that for the better Gambia. So thank you very much for this conversation. We hope that we would have a lot more of that, and I think we should be involving more young people than the older folks, because I like this conversation better than most of the conversations we've had. But no disrespect to any of those conversations. They've been very great. So it's better to bring in young people to really have these conversations, looking into the direction where our country is going. Because at the end of the day, the old will phase out, and probably the Tunkaras would take over the Republic of the Gambia soon. Yeah, I really hope to see you in some real big positions, because I think you have the capacity and the ability to. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. Tunkara. And I mean, like Doc said earlier, most of you people, have interacted with you in most cases, and then we know your capabilities. And then these are the people that do not just jump up and take in charge of position in different institution. They have been into student governance and into issues related to public lives. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Thank you, Lamin, even though we could not have him throughout the program. And I know Usino Dabo is going to really do something about that to make sure that they give him good food.
We have to redo this conversation.
Exactly, we would do it some time ago.
For sure.
All right. Thank you so much.